Guys, welcome back to the channel. It is the 27th of January 2023. We are looking at a Vanguard high dividend yield ETF, ticker symbol VYM. VYM is the ticker symbol. It's a high dividend yielding ETF. Guys, the current 30-day SEC yield for VYM as of, let's see here, 12/31/22 is 2.98%. That is shown right here. The 30-day SEC yield 2.98%. It does fluctuate over time. We have owned this fund for a while now, and I recall it being roughly around 4% or so, maybe even higher than that when we originally started to own this fund. So the SEC yield will fluctuate over time. Let's see here. The product summary seeks to track the performance of the FTSE High Dividend Yield Index, which measures the investment return of common stocks of companies characterized by high dividend yields. Provides a convenient way to track the performance of stocks that are forecasted to have above average yields. So if you want to own a basket of stocks that have above average yields within a Vanguard fund, VYM is something to consider. Relatively low expense ratio at 0.06%. Let's see here. The inception date of this fund, when this fund was founded, was back in 2006. We are in 2023 right now. So let's keep on scrolling down a bit. Year-to-date performance, which is for this year, as of yesterday, 26 days into the new year, up 2.34%. Minimum investment amount is $1, guys. $1 minimum investment amount. Market price as of yesterday, the 26th, $110. Let's keep on scrolling down here. Guys, welcome to the channel. Appreciate all of the subscribers. If you are not yet subscribed, consider doing so. Let's go down to the holdings. Let's see what this fund holds. So the number of stocks in VYM is 440, which is a lot of stocks. So with ETFs, you buy into this ETF fund, and this fund is passively managed. It's a passively managed fund. You actually own a small portion of all 440 stocks for this example, or whatever that number may be within inside that basket. So you can think of it as you're going to the store, you're going to buy a basket of goodies, a basket of stocks. The basket is called VYM. Inside that basket is 440 stocks for X amount of price, and you actually hold a fraction of all of those 440 stocks for the price of the overall fund, which, like I said, yesterday was $110. Scroll down a bit here. These are the different sectors of the stocks that are within this fund. Basic materials, consumer staples, energy, financials, healthcare, industrials, technology, telecommunications, utilities, consumer discretionary. Keep on scrolling down a bit, guys. So here is some of the holdings that are within this fund. So you have Johnson & Johnson, ExxonMobil, JP Morgan, Procter & Gamble, Chevron, Home Depot, Pfizer, Merck. You can go over to fixed income. Let's see here. There is no holdings for fixed income. Short-term reserves. Back to equity. You can click here to view the portfolio holdings disclaimer. This fund pays a quarterly dividend. Quarterly, so not monthly. So you can see if we look down at the bottom portion of our screen, we have our ex-dividend date. We have our record date, and we have our payable date. Let's see what the ex-dividend date, the date when a distribution of dividends and or capital gains is deducted from the share price of a mutual fund or stock. On the ex-dividend date, the share price drops by the amount of the distribution plus and or minus any market activity. The record date, the date used to determine who is eligible to receive a company's or fund's next distribution of dividends or capital gains. So you want to own the fund by the record date. If you do not own the fund at the record date, you will not be receiving the dividend. So we used to buy VYM or another dividend fund, call it on a monthly basis, but we would get in right before the record date. So if you had a set amount of money that you wanted to invest every month in a certain fund or stock that paid a dividend, we would make sure that we bought that fund, this example VYM, right before that record date, so we were eligible and we received the dividend on the payable date. So for this example, the record date was the 9/21/21. We would make sure we would buy it, on the 18th or the 19th. The 20th would be getting a little too close because, whatever, if you forget or something. But that was just something that we did. So you can see here the payable amount per share. So if you have one share of VYM on the 21st of, let's see here, September, back in 21, that was a 74-cent per share dividend you received for that quarter. And then back in December, you would receive 93 cents per share. So if you have one share, you'll get a dividend of 93 cents per that one share. If you have 5, 10, 15, whatever the amount is, $1,000 in this fund, you can do the math, and the dividends are very handsome, to say the least. So it's something to consider if you want to own a fund that pays a high yield. You want to own a basket of stocks that have above average dividends. VYM is something to consider, of course, in my opinion. Dividends do fluctuate, though, of course. Right now, money markets are actually paying quite a bit higher than 2.98%, but they don't stay up there forever. They go up and down as well. Let's check out some charts of VYM and SPY. So on the left-hand side of the screen, guys, is the monthly chart of the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF, VYM. VYM has gone up over time. This is a monthly chart, by the way. Every bar represents 1 month. Going back to, it looks like that 2006 time frame over in here, December 2006. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. SPY, the spiders. So you can see the VYM and the SPY basically follow the same track on a monthly chart. So basically, if you're owning VYM, it's very similar to being involved in the S&P 500. So for what that's worth, you can keep that in mind. Like I said, this is a monthly chart of both the VYM on our left and the SPY on our right. Now, you could just, of course, go buy the S&P 500 ETF, SPY, but you won't receive as high of a dividend if you own VYM. So there is, of course, a trade-off. Also, keeping in mind, along with your dividends that you will be receiving in VYM, you will also be participating in market fluctuations. So as markets go down and as markets go up, your account will fluctuate along with that. So be prepared for that. Markets can get very volatile at certain times. So your accounts will go up, your accounts will go down, but you will be receiving your dividends on a quarterly basis. So that is some of my thoughts on the VYM, the Vanguard High Yield Dividend Fund. I will leave a link to the Vanguard page down in the video description if you want to check that out. Do a deeper dive into the performance of the fund, the dividends over time, and if it's right for your portfolio or if it's what you're looking for or not. Maybe you want to take more risk. Maybe you want to take less risk. So check that out. Guys, if you have not yet subscribed, consider doing so. Appreciate all of these subscribers, and I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, take care.